The Braves rallied from a 10-4 deficit to win 11-10 Tuesday night versus the White Sox, moving their record to 57 and 69 going into tonight's White Sox finale. Welcome to the 204th episode of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is my fabulous co-host, Todd T.C. Corder, and of course our fabulous producer, Wayne Ridenauer, in wonderful Memphis, Tennessee. You can catch us all at ATL Prime Sports across the board: Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And of course, as always, if you like the content, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and follow us across the board. Leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Do the thing. We're a bunch of good guys. We like doing this for you guys. At JJ Get You One, my personal X, at RWY Jr. for Wayne, at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, and at LG for Real Though, who is doing some PA voice work in the Adairsville area. Wayne, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, but I got to tell you, it's getting towards the end of August, and I've been looking at Major League Baseball for the last 4 or 5 months, and I'm ready to finally put it down because I don't believe that Texas is going to be able to make the wild card, and so we're going to put that on the back burner now, and we're going to focus our attention towards football.
I like it. Todd, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Great. I flew up this morning from Atlanta to Detroit, and then I popped on a plane in Detroit to Alpena, Michigan. I'm in this area right now visiting family. And I tell you what, when I was on the flight from Detroit to Alpena, right across the aisle from me, I met the number one pick of the NFL draft in 1972. His name is Walt Patulski. And you know what? I met a few of his Notre Dame football teammates. He played defensive end for the Irish. He was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. He played for legendary coach Ara Parseghian. And the year after he left, Notre Dame won the national championship in '73. And I tell you what, I had some great conversations with Walt and his teammates. I mean, it was really awesome. Joe Theismann was their quarterback. Just brought up several big-time names in football going way back in history. And I tell you what, that's something you learn something new every day. You don't know what to expect every day. But I know when you travel and you get in an airport and you get on a plane, just expect the unexpected. And that was really a pleasant thing that was unexpected to happen today, and I really enjoyed my time talking to these guys going back in the day, enjoying football. It's old school, and it's really awesome.
That's really cool. I'm doing well. Can't wait for the Iowa State-Kansas State conference opener in Dublin, Ireland this weekend. Hope it's as good as last year's Dublin, Ireland game versus Florida State and Georgia Tech, which went down to a last-second field goal. Can't wait. Week 0 is right around the corner. What's on tap for today's show? A Big Ten preview. Do you like the potential MLB realignment? We'll ask that question. And the Pick 6 is back, baby. Well, Pick 5 this week, but we digress. Okay, anyway, what week 1 is less than 10 days away. We previewed the SEC last week, and we'll preview the Big Ten this week. Let's talk about the quarterbacks in the conference like we did last week in the SEC. Guys, let's talk about the importance of some quarterbacks here. No particular order. There's no particular right or wrong answers. Just who you think are the 5 most important quarterbacks in this league. Todd, we'll start with you, man.
Every quarterback and every team is important, and they're all
correct.
Equally
That's
important.
Why it's a subjective, just subjective.
Right, but
fun.
It's one of those questions where you don't know who all the starting quarterbacks are going to be in the conference. I mean, there's still some decisions to be made at quarterback. So we all know that Dante Moore is going to start for Oregon. We do know that. We know that Ohio State, Julian Saban is going to start for the Buckeyes. We know that Drew Aller is going to start for Penn State. So, I mean, we have some answers for certain teams. Michigan is still not an answer yet. Is it going to be Bryce Underwood or is it going to be someone else? So you don't know who's going to start. Fresno State quarterback Mikey Keene, the former quarterback, he may start. So there's still some questions. I don't think Underwood's going to start. I think it is going to be Keene from what I'm hearing, but we'll see. And of course, look at Illinois. Luke Altmaier is going to start for Illinois. That's another contender in the Big Ten. Nebraska, Dylan Raiola, he's going to start. Huge, very important quarterback. See if he does better. He was a great high school quarterback here in the state of Georgia. So, and other teams still have questions. I mean, Iowa brought in Mark Gronowski from South Dakota State. He led them to back-to-back FCS national titles. So we're going to find out. Quarterback is huge like it is in the SEC, and it's huge in the Big Ten. For Michigan State, a sleeper. Jonathan Smith's going to go with Aiden Childs. Childs learned a lot on the run yesterday. And then of course, for UCLA, Nico left Tennessee, and he's going to be the quarterback at UCLA. So there's a lot of fascinating stories in this conference. I mean, they're all equally important. But, I mean, obviously, if you're going to get a magnifying glass on it, the three guys that I initially mentioned, Dante Moore of Oregon and Julian Salen of Ohio State, and obviously Drew Aller, I guess those would be, quote-unquote, the most important because those are the three teams that are favored to win the Big Ten. But you just do not know. I think this conference could be wide open, just like the SEC. Even though Penn State's a big favorite not only to win the Big Ten, but they're favorites to potentially win the national championship. A lot of fascinating stories at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, there's no wrong answer here. The way I'm doing it is by pure importance. You look at, and again, no particular order. These guys aren't the best, the worst, or anything. I just think they're the five most important quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I'll start with number 5. I think it is Bryce Underwood at Michigan. Look, Michigan only threw 12 touchdown passes last year as a team between 3 or 4 starting quarterbacks. One of those starting quarterbacks transferred out and went to UNLV with Dan Mullen and the Running Rebels. So I think Bryce Underwood, 6'4", 205, 206 pounds, whatever he is, big time recruit, committed to LSU, solid with LSU. Then all of a sudden on signing day, Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports, and a couple other donors come in with supposedly around a couple $1 million, several $1 million, and they bring this guy in. So I think Bryce Underwood is one of the most important quarterbacks to the success of Michigan. And I think the biggest reason why is Michigan's schedule. It's one of the easiest in the country. It's ranked 127 in Phil Steele. And look, I think that's an important position, as we mentioned, especially for Michigan, because just the lack of production in that category last year. Number 4, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Traveled all the way across the country, 3,000-yard passer last year at Cal, getting first-round NFL draft buzz with his 6'5" frame. So this guy can really stand in there, make all the throws for Cignetti and that Indiana offense. Will he be able to do that again and recreate the magic from last year's 11-1 season? Luke Altmaier, you mentioned at Illinois, threw for over 2,700 yards last year, takes care of the football. You expect him to jump that up by another 300 or 400 yards and get to that 3,000-yard mark. And Illinois, one of their running backs transferred to UGA, McCray, and you expect Altmaier to take that step forward. So number 2, I got Julian Sand. Guy was recruited at Ohio State, I should say. Former number 3 high school quarterback in the 2024 class, only behind Lagway and Raiola at Nebraska. So two really athletic quarterbacks that can get the job done. The fact Ohio State didn't go to the portal tells me a lot about this guy. They stuck with him. He was recruited by Saban, enrolled early in Alabama, was going to play at Alabama, was in the mix to be that starting quarterback last year But again, Saban retired early, and when you retire, you get the free transfer. So he wasn't there very long, transfers up to Ohio State. So Julian Sainz, my number two. Number one, I'm with you, Todd. I think it's Drew Aller. And much of the same reasons you just said earlier. He really blossomed under the new OC, Andy Kutanicki, last year. I hope I pronounced that. I'm terrible with that pronunciation. And he's the top returning passer in terms of passer ratings from a year ago in the Big Ten. So those are my five guys that I think are the most important in this league. You mentioned Moore. I think he's definitely an honorable mention. And Nico in UCLA, what he does with that offense in his first year in Big Ten football. So I'm excited to see what these quarterbacks do. You mentioned a lot of position battles. It could be Keene at Michigan, but I do think with the lack of production there, they're going to go with the bigger frame guy who can make the play, extend the play, and he has a big arm, as we saw in high school. So he's from the area. He should fit in very well. Todd, or Wayne, I should say, what are your thoughts, man? Who are your important quarterbacks in this league? Give me one or two of them, or if you got the top five, give it to me, man.
Well, I went ahead and just did some research on this because I didn't really look around or get in depth or haven't been over the last, off season or whatever you call it. So I just kind of went around seeing what everybody else was saying. And this is the top five I came up with based on what other people are saying. I've got Bryce Underwood as number 5 at Michigan, and I do think he'll be the starter. Luke Altmaier at number 4. Julian Sayin at number 3, and number 2, Drew Allard. And I think Dante Moore from Oregon is going to be probably the quarterback in the Big Ten with the best stats. And I think it's because of the school and what they got going on there with quarterbacks.
I like it, Wayne. I like it. Yeah, Dan Lanning took the Oregon Ducks to the playoffs last year. Dylan Gabriel, now in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, taking shot at his teammate Shedeur Sanders. Story for a different day. But anyway, here we go. New season with Dan Lanning. Dante Moore comes in from UCLA, and lots of UCLA and Tennessee quarterbacks in the transfer portal and brothers and everything this year. That's been very interesting. Todd, any final thoughts on the quarterbacks in this Big Ten conference, one of the best in the country?
Oh, there's no question about it. It's been the best conference in the country for the last 2 seasons, but we'll see how that shakes out this year. To me, this is so subjective. I'm not a big fan of who's the most important. Obviously, they're all equally important, and they all have to take care of the football, and they can't turn it over. But what determines all that, a lot of that, is the play on the offensive line. Any quarterback that is going to be successful has to get a running game going. And Penn State's got 2 guys that are running the football, and they're going to play on Sunday in the National Football League starting next year. So, that right there to me is a huge advantage when you have 2 running backs that are projected to play on Sunday. You're the conference favorite. And we'll see how that turns out for Penn State. But I'm telling you what, the Nittany Lions, we talked about it. Kirby Smart, he couldn't win the big one. He won it twice. Ryan Day, he couldn't win the big one. He won it last year. Well, now it's James Franklin's turn to win the so-called big one. So we're going to find out if Penn State can win the so-called big one. I mean, Nick Singleton's a great running back for Penn State, and they've got a great 2-headed tandem, and that's going to help Drew Aller a ton. And Katron Allen is right there with Nick Singleton. I mean, it's like Penn State, they may have the 2 best backs in the country, yet each one's going to share the load and make Drew Aller's job really easy.
Yeah, no, again, every quarterback is important, no doubt about it, but this is subjective and a fun exercise to kind of get an idea of where your mind is. And I stick with Bryce Underwood as one of the most important quarterbacks because, well, Michigan has a good offensive line. You mentioned it. Your quarterback's only as good as your offensive line is. Michigan's got one of the better offensive lines in the country. They're able to run the ball extremely well last year. And if they're able to get that run game, and whoever it is, Bryce Underwood or Keene, is able to throw more than, 12 touchdown passes, I think Michigan, and mixed in with a pretty easy schedule, has a really good shot at getting to 10-2, depending on how
They
good
could
the
be a
quarterback
playoff
is.
team.
So, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's an outside shot at it as if that quarterback performs better than what they got last year, because we all saw it. There was no quarterback play at Michigan last year. So very intriguing.
JJ, you mentioned Orgy. You mentioned Orgy, and that's a prelude to the pick six, because Orgy is going to play for UNLV, like you mentioned earlier, and we'll see if he can throw the ball much better at UNLV than he did at Michigan. That is what is called a sneak peek into the pick six. That is so ironic how we tied that bow together.
Yeah, it's so we're kind of good at what we do, folks. If you want to keep on tagging along with us, hit that subscribe button and give us some support. Give us a follow at ATL Prime Sports across the board. Let's move from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball. Talk about some of these big bad defensive units. Which ones stand out in this conference, and give some honorable mentions. Look, I think the one that stands out the most is the guy at the top, James Franklin's defense. In Happy Valley, Penn State had a solid secondary. A lot of those guys returned. They had 20 interceptions a year ago, Todd, which was good for fourth in the country. Look, I think Michigan is front seven, very good. Derek Brooks, his senior, he's come in. He had a lot more drive, a lot more expectations. Let's see what Moore does his senior year. So I'm excited about those two units to see what comes from that. And those are my top two units in the league. Obviously, Ohio State's going to be there. Oregon's going to be there. Defensive mind, Dan Lanning. Tons of linebacker talent. He recruits very well, as he did at Georgia. So I'm excited to see what this conference brings. One of the best defensive conference, and as always, it's one of the two best conferences in the league. So lots of talent on both sides of the ball here. But Dan Lanning's unit stands out in Oregon, Penn State, Michigan. Indiana was a good unit. We'll see what they return. It's really interesting, but those are some of the ones that stand out to me, Todd. What about you?
You know what stands out to me is Ohio State lost their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. Where did he go? To Penn State. Think about that. That is a huge shift and a huge get for the Nittany Lions. I mean, that to me is gigantic. And Penn State has 6 returning players on defense, and it was a really good defense a year ago. Ohio State, well, there's some unknown on them for defense. I mean, They only have 3 guys returning, of course. Well, Caleb Downs is one of them, the All-American, and then Sonny Styles is returning too. He's a heck of a player, so that's a good start. And Jermaine Matthews is an emerging star at corner for the Buckeyes. But
Indeed.
Defense wins championships, and offense sells tickets. And when you look at the players on Penn State, I mean, defensively for the first team, all Big Ten, the Buckeyes have them. No, it's full of Penn State, and it's full of Ohio State with a sprinkling of Oregon. But I do think that Penn State and Ohio State are going to have the 2 best best defenses in this conference. And the winner of that game, I believe, is going to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, that leads us right into our next topic, some big-time matchups. Now, Caleb Downs, Georgia boy, went down there between Georgia and Ohio State. Get down, got him in there. So Ohio State, Caleb Downs, one of the best players in the country. Young kids, if you're out there, defensive backs, looking to watch a guy, looking to say, hey, who can I watch this year to get better? Caleb Downs is one of the best athletes in the entire country. He actually has, in Phil Steele's magazine, he is an outside shot at the Heisman. So it's pretty impressive. As you can tell, I got my Phil Steele magazine today. I'm excited. I got giggity with it. So let's talk about some of these big time matchups, Todd, in this conference. 3 or 4 of the big ones. You can do some honorable mentions. They're all probably going to involve 3 of the 4 same teams. That's okay, because that's usually how every conference works. I'll tee this one off, and I think it starts fairly early, late September. Oregon travels to Happy Valley all the way across the state, plays Beaver Stadium, Penn State, September 27th. You mentioned it. The winner of that game could win the conference, Todd. I think that's the number one game in the conference. It's fairly early. Penn State at Ohio State, November 1st. And then I think a random but also huge game that's going to determine the second team that might be playing in that conference championship game is Ohio State and Illinois, October 11th in Champaign. So I think Ohio State making that mid-fall trip to Champaign. Brett Bielema got the guys ready to go. Luke Altmaier, this is a different-looking Illinois team. They have expectations. What will this game mean? Will it mean Illinois takes the next step to go towards that Rose Bowl as they did in, 2002 with Ron Zook? It's been a while. But those are my three biggest games of the year, Todd, and we'll give me some of yours, and I'm sure they might even be some of the same.
Well, I tell you what, I said that the game between Penn State and Ohio State would win it. You must have thought I said between. It's okay. You probably thought I said between Penn State and Oregon. It's no big deal.
I misheard you.
Yeah, no, it's not a big deal. But they're all big games. I can't believe you left out the game. Not only is it the biggest game in the Big Ten every year, in my opinion, well, because I'm from the Midwest, it's the game in college football every damn year. And it's Michigan versus Ohio State. And it's going to have not only conference championship implications, it may also involve a playoff spot. That is the game. Number two, I like what you mentioned between Ohio State and Illinois. You look at Illinois' schedule, they play the Buckeyes, they don't play Michigan, they don't play Penn State, and they don't play Oregon. Scheduling matters in college football, and yesterday on ATL Prime Sports, you can go get it, was live on X. I had a nice conversation with Joel Norris, who is at pigskin_frenzy. We talked all things about college football, and scheduling was one of them. You can check that out. I had a great time speaking to him yesterday. So we went through that. We went through those two games, and I liked it. But to me, Penn State and Ohio State, the winner of that game's going to win the Big Ten, I believe. And if it isn't, Ohio State and Michigan is going to be part of that pie. So, another game, a sneaky game to look out for later in the year. We'll see if Nebraska is a sneaky team. Is they play at Penn State the same week USC plays at Oregon. Is that upset city week that's right before Thanksgiving? So someone may get some bad stuffing in its turkey that week. And then November 8th, Indiana at Penn State, or Washington and Wisconsin. There's all kinds of good games that could turn this one. And you know what? Michigan goes to USC on October 11th. That could be another big game. And always a big game is Michigan and Michigan State. If the Spartans and Aiden Childs can beat Michigan at home this year, that's going to hurt the Wolverines big time. And with that rivalry, you just never know.
Yeah, you absolutely never know. And I kind of left the Ohio State-Michigan game for you as a common courtesy because we all
you
know
left
it's
it
one
for
of
a
the
mulligan. I
biggest games
appreciate that.
But no, I did it for some fun of the show and to get a different game in there because I knew we would both put that in there if I put that in there. So just trying to get a little variance here.
No,
Wayne,
it's all right. I
comments on the
appreciate
Big
you putting
Ten
on the
schedule?
tee for me.
Oh, did someone just say my name and then I didn't understand anything after that?
Did you have any big time games that you're looking out for?
Well, I've actually got three. Two of them are actually dependent on each other as to its implication. But the first one is going to be Texas at Ohio State, opening game of the season, and that could swing both ways to be a big change for Texas or Ohio State, depending on how it goes.
You went a non-conference route. All
right. And then the Oregon State-Penn State, or the Oregon-Penn State game, I think is going to be a big implication because if OSU loses, then Oregon State, and then I'm sorry, keep calling them Oregon State. Oregon, Penn State will probably be the number 1, 2 by the time that game swings around. And then just for fun, and in case Michigan does create something out of what they're working with now, I think the Michigan State game will be important because Michigan State will probably come up and beat Michigan. And it may be unexpected. It may not be.
That's feasible. That's feasible, Wayne. I had mentioned that. You're right. That is one of the biggest rivalries in college football, and it's not talked enough about enough. I know the Spartans have struggled, but they always seem to give Michigan fits. They got pounded last year. So, not last year, but they got pounded. Yeah, they got pounded last year. So, or no, I apologize. That was 2 years ago. They got destroyed. State gave them a game last year in Ann Arbor. So you don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, rivalries, and that's one of those you can truly throw the records out the book. So it's always exciting in the Big Ten. Lots of rivalries, 27,000 teams. No, I'm just kidding. It's only 18. But let's have some fun, guys. Let's pick our conference championship game and who wins it. Right now, I got Penn State playing Oregon 2 times. I can't quite put Ohio State in there yet with Julian Sayin, such a young quarterback, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's Penn State, Ohio State. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Oregon or Ohio State again. It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan was in this game. I think there's 3 or 4 teams that could win this conference outright. Michigan being with the schedule, Ohio State with just some absolute studs everywhere you look with recruiting and NIL, and they brought in some transfer portal guys to bolster that defensive unit. So I'm sticking with Penn State and Oregon, but this thing could be wide open between the top 4 or 5 teams. And right now, I got James Franklin winning the big one. I think he gets the Big Ten championship for the second time in his career. Gets possibly that number 1 overall seed. And with the new playoff schedule, that could be a benefit this year. Wasn't a benefit for any of the bye teams last year. So I got Penn State over Oregon right now. Wayne, let's go with you before we go with Todd. What you got for your conference championship?
Well, the conference championship, in my opinion, will be Oregon versus whoever's lucky enough to run through their gauntlet. Because I just think it's going to be Oregon versus somebody.
So Oregon versus everybody, and you like the Ducks to win it this year.
Right. I'm looking for the Ducks to win that conference.
Back-to-back newcomers owning the conference since they've gotten in, according to Wayne. Todd, what you got? Who you got winning the thing? Or
I kind of gave a hint earlier. I think the impact of Jim Knowles is huge. I like Penn State over Ohio State. You look at the talent of every roster in the Big Ten. These are the most 2 talented teams on paper. I know they don't play it on paper, but the way it's going to shake out, I've got the Yenzers getting over the hump, beating Ohio State.
Interesting.
I tell you, of all this Big Ten talk, the team I wish we could have talked more about Washington, but I don't. They must be in some kind of funk right now because nobody's talking about them.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
They lost a lot of talent from a year ago. A team that was down from the Michael Penix years and DeBoer leaving. They could reload. They could revamp that offense. They got some transfers in there. We'll see what Washington does. The Huskies are never a team to back to count out of the Big Ten now that they're in it. Let's go from the Big Ten preview. We'll go quickly before our pick 6. Talk a little MLB. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said on Sunday Night Baseball about MLB expansion. I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. And the sports writers went nuts on this. What are your thoughts on geographical realignment within the Major League Baseball, going from no more American League possibly, Todd, to maybe conferences, to maybe Southeast Division and Atlanta moving to the American League. It was absolutely crazy. It's asinine. I think it's stupid. If they bring 2 more teams in, just put them in accordingly. I think the MLB is obviously pretty well geographically located anyway. And let's just play ball. I mean, I think we're changing way too much in Major League Baseball right now. We're going to ABS system next year. I just think too much change too quickly is never good for anything. So I think just bring the 2 new teams in wherever they are. If it's Charlotte and Nashville, doesn't matter where the heck they go. Just put them in the division. Split the divisions up again if you have to, or maybe realign a little bit, but keep it pretty much similar. Keep the Braves in the National League. They've been in the National League the entire time. That is asinine to talk about the Braves going to the American League. That is absolutely crazy talk. Don't like it, not one bit. Zero, zilch. Todd, your thoughts?
The fact that they're going to have the ABS system, you mentioned it. They have instant replay now in baseball. They made the bases bigger. They've changed the rules to allow for more stolen bases. They changed the shift. They've made smaller ballparks. We now have more home runs. We now have more strikeouts. We have more computers instead of managers feel. We've allowed 12 teams in the playoffs now. We've gotten rid of the DH in the National League. And now we're going to get rid of the American League since it's been here since 1901 and the National League in 1876. No, this is batshit insane. They will not exist as we know them. They're taking over 100 years of baseball before totally destructing this damn game. I cannot believe what the hell are they wrong with these people? Over what? Money. I can't believe it. We've got the launch angle. I mean, holy cow, what are we doing here? No, this is absolutely friggin' ridiculous. And,
it is.
In the realignment, JJ, we can read them off. We might as well do it very quick. NL Midwest, Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Reds, NL Central, Rockies, Royals, Texas, Houston, NL Southwest. I want to throw up. The Dodgers, Padres, Angels, Arizona, NL Northwest, Seattle, whatever in the hell you want to call the A's, the Giants, and potentially a Portland team. Hell, who knows? It might be National. It's Portland according to this. AL Northeast, the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Phillies, AL Mid-Atlantic, Baltimore, Washington, Pittsburgh, and whatever in the hell you want to call Cleveland, the Twins, the Tigers, the Brewers, the Jays, and the AL Great Lakes. Good God, we're turning this into a softball league on Wednesday night. AL Southwest. I was going to say AL Southwest, Braves, Marlins, Rays, wherever in the hell they are, and a team in Charlotte or Nashville or whatever. They're destroying every tradition in baseball. And JJ, this just must make
the AL Southeast and the AL Southwest and the NL this and the NL that. Who gives a shit? Let's just play baseball.
I can't believe we're going to do an AL Great Lakes. I mean, my God, we have a Great Lakes League in the minor leagues. I mean, I can't believe how stuck on stupid this really is. I really
Wayne,
cannot.
I
just told you all the traditions that they've gotten rid of, and this one now is just burning all the candles on the cake and melting it off the plate permanently.
Wayne, your thoughts, man? You like it? Disagree with it?
Well, here's the question I have. Maybe one of you two could answer this. This commissioner they've got now, or the guy who wants to make this change, did he ever work in the NBA?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
Okay, the reason I ask is because I'm looking at these divisions, and it sure looks a lot like East-West for the NBA. And if they're going to do this stupid split East-West, then it loses the whole meaning of the word national or American. And
Agreed.
that's
Are you
what
saying? Are you asking about? I'm sorry. Are you asking about Rob Manfred?
yeah, if you're looking him up right now, you can just go ahead and tell me everything about him.
Well,
Yeah, no, I don't believe he ever
never
worked
worked in the NBA.
No, he didn't. That's what
Okay,
he's
the
saying.
reason I ask about the NBA is because this move does not look like it's about money. It doesn't look like it's about TV time. It looks like it's about fashion. They want to appear to be fashionable. Look at us. We've got East and West teams geographically lined up. Oh, and it's stupid.
That's awesome. I get it, Wayne. I get it.
It's unbelievable.
I get what you're saying with Manfred and the NBA terminology. The analogy there works. I get what you're saying. You were being a little sarcastic. I like it. We all disagree with it. Baseball, just play on. We don't need to make another change. Let's go from Major League Baseball.
Hey, JJ, can I say something? You know what?
Yeah, real quick, go ahead.
They're not taking the game to people at my age group and above. I'm past that. They're taking the game to maybe your age group, but they're definitely catering the game to folks in their 20s, teens, kids, and the next future generations. And unfortunately, this stupidity is what they think will do it. And the fact that they even thought of this scares the living hell out of me. I mean, and they're all doing it for one reason. What is it that I always say in sports, whatever level it is? What's the word? Follow the money. This is all about money. Putting all these teams in these divisions is about saving money on travel. It's about money, period.
Period. Yeah, it's we all disagree. They should not go this route. Someone should get in Rob Manfred's ear and tell him to keep this thing normal. Let's go from Major League Baseball thoughts to our first pick six of the 25-26 season. Our pick six, here are the rules. This week only. 5 of the best football games from college and pro. Spreads are from Wednesday per ESPNBet.com. Again, normally it's pick 6. Pick 5 this week. I digress. We'll pick up. Week 1, week 0, game 1, number 22, Iowa State versus number 17, Kansas State. Kansas State's a 3-point favorite. 49.5-point total on that one. This game is 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on ESPN from Avia Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Guys, I'll tee off the first pick. Todd, you won the thing last year. If I remember correctly, I think it was you. And I'm going to go with the Iowa State Cyclones in the points, and I'll tell you why right here, right now. A conference game to open the season, obviously. Matt Campbell enters his 10th season as the Cyclones head coach. And I like Rocco Becht as his quarterback as well. Becht was a top 5 passer in the Big 12 last year. One game away from the college football playoff where they got blown out by Arizona State in that Big 12 game. But they were right there. I think they're very close to being that top team in the Big 12 yet again. I like Iowa State and the 3 points in Dublin, Ireland. Wayne, what say you?
I'm going to go with K-State on this one, simply because I feel like their football program last year got off to a great start before they started petering out. And I think they're going to get off to a great start this year.
Todd, what say you?
Wayne, you picked K-State, huh? Interesting. Yep. You know, it's really not a home game for anybody.
Yeah, I know
it's
that.
Being
but
in Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. And, you know, this is really an interesting game. You know, golly, this is a hard game to pick. I mean, think about it. These teams are really similar.
They are.
Man, I thought it was my
2 returning quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. 2 good coaches.
Right. And in the +3, I think Kansas State may win this puppy, but I've got Iowa State covering. I'm with JJ. I like Rocco at quarterback. You know, this kid getting better. He's tough. He's gritty. Iowa State can run the ball. I mean, they got two dudes that ran for almost 1,200 yards apiece last year. And, but Kansas State, I mean, they're really good. They're back. I mean, Avery Johnson is really good too. Brown's a good running back. I don't know, man. I got Iowa State pulling, at least covering the spread.
Yeah, I got him too. Carson Hansen and that backup. Let me check my notes here. Sama. It's a good 1-2 punch for Iowa State and the Cyclones. Larry's got Kansas State, so the house is divided 2-2 on that one. Let's go to our second game of the Pick Six. Idaho State. The Bengals travel to UNLV, play at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. UNLV is a 26.5-point favorite. Total on that one, 65 and a hook. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. That game is not on TV that I know of. If you let me know, I'll update it. But Dan Mullen's first game back as a head coach. And Wayne, what you got in this one?
Well, even though I'm not too big of a UNLV running Rebel fan, I really got to pick them in this one. And the reason I'm not such a UNLV fan is because of Jerry Tarkanian and their basketball team back in the 80s. So maybe I can get over it now and pick UNLV for something.
I like it. TC, what you got?
It's on television. It's on the, it's on the Mountain West Network.
There you go.
So the game it is on television. And I'll tell you what, that's just too many points, man. That's too many points. I think Idaho State covers that. And you know what? We mentioned Orgy earlier. This guy couldn't hit water. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat in the middle of the ocean passing the ball last year. I mean, UNLV's going to throw the ball with this guy. He better vastly improve. And I've got to see it to believe it. He's a great runner. But I think Idaho State's going to pin that box and force UNLV to throw the ball. It may be a high-scoring game, but Idaho State, they cover. I mean, that's a lot of points for week one. They cover.
Larry's got UNLV in the running Rebs as well. I'm taking Dan Mullen in his first game back. Mullen went into the portal hard for the running Rebs. 35 transfers came in to Vegas, including 2 quarterbacks, Alex Orgy of Michigan, Anthony Calandria of Virginia. They went in and got a former top 10 wide receiver. His name is JoJo Earl, transfer from TCU. So I think these transfers, Dan Mullen, he knows how to do this. He watched the TV gang. He went from Florida to Mississippi State. He coached Tim Tebow. He coached Dak Prescott. He coached guys that he got the most out of. I think he'll get the most out of whoever the starter is, whether it's the transfer from Virginia or Orgy, the transfer from Michigan. I think they'll be able to run the ball with the quarterback fairly well. I think they'll be able to run the ball with some of their bigger running backs. And I can't wait to see what Dan Mullen does in his first game back. So I'm taking UNLV. Idaho State wasn't that good. They only won 4 or 5 games in the FCS last year. They gave up a lot of points from my research. So I'm taking the running Rebs to cover. And I don't know if I said this already. Larry's doing the same. Fresno State at Kansas should be a sneaky good ball game. 6:30 p.m. on Fox. Kansas is 13-point home favorites. The total on that one's 50.5. Again, Fresno State at Kansas. Wayne, what you got there?
Well, I'm going to take Kansas on this one because I'm unsure about Fresno State. Even though they got a nice logo and I like their Bulldog just as much as Georgia's, going with Kansas.
I like it. Todd, what you got?
Oh, give me Fresno State to cover. I mean, think about it, man. Fresno State, they got players there. I mean, they just do. This is a good program, Fresno State. That's a lot of points in week one, man. E.J. Warner, that's Kurt Warner's son, will play quarterback for Fresno State. I like the Bulldogs to cover the spread. I like all the road teams so far to cover the spread in this in our prediction so far.
Fresno State and the points, interesting. Larry's going Kansas to cover as well. Look, I think Kansas is poised for a big home opener. Remember, folks, they didn't play a home game last year. Their stadium was undergoing renovations. They played at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. So this is their first game back in a year. Jalen Daniels is back for a senior year. They got a Bama running back transfer and Emmanuel Henderson, who's looking to make a name for himself. Didn't get a lot of carries out there in Tuscaloosa, so he comes out to the Midwest in the Great Plains. I like Lance Leipold, and the Jayhawks to break in their no stadium the right way. I do. Kurt Warner, son EJ, you mentioned it. He'll be the starter for Fresno. Started his career at Temple. One of the Hall of Fame son. That's a great story right there. But I like Kansas to break in their new stadium, get juiced up for the Week 0 opener. And Jalen Daniels, one of the more fun quarterbacks to watch in the entire country in terms of college football. That's our third game. So, again, Larry going Kansas, Wayne going Kansas, I'm going Kansas, Todd going Fresno State. And the points, our fourth game of the week, Sam Houston, the Bearcats, travel to Bowling Green, Kentucky to take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Hilltoppers 10-point favorites. Total on that one 61.5. 7 o'clock p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Larry's taking the Hilltoppers to cover. Wayne, what say you?
I'm taking the Hilltoppers as well. I was actually glad to see Larry took the Hilltoppers. I don't have a whole bunch of friends who are Hilltopper alumni or fans, but there are some here in Memphis, and they probably present that bumper sticker on their car.
TC, what you got, man? You got the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky or the Bearcats of Sam Houston?
Sam Houston, a lot of points again on opening week. They've had a really good season last year. I like them to cover.
Sam Houston and the points for Todd. I'm going with the Hilltoppers. Look, I think Sam
either
Houston,
I'm going to be down, JJ, I'm sorry, either I'm going to be down in the freaking dumps and you guys are going to bury me, or I'm going to be way up.
Yeah, it's like that. I kind of, opening weekend, I kind of take the favorites a lot just because it's usually how it goes. But the underdogs are always a safe play. Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Look, Sam Houston, again, they're starting over on defense. Western Kentucky has a maverick at quarterback. Not even going to try and pronounce that last name. Miola. I'm terrible with it. I haven't gotten his pronunciation down yet. But I like Tyson Helton. He's a great coach, related to Clay Helton down in Statesboro. Great coaching family. They'll have the Hilltoppers ready for the conference game at home. So 2 conference games to open up the season on Week 0. It's pretty interesting if you're looking forward into conference parity at the end of the year. But that's our fourth game, our fifth and final game of the Pick 6. Stanford at Hawaii. Hawaii 2.5-point home favorites. The total is 50.5. 7:30 p.m. on CBS. And Larry is taking Stanford and the points on this one. Wayne, what say you?
I'm taking Hawaii.
I like it. Todd, what you got?
Stanford, man. I think this is the cover week. I Stanford, Hawaii has not been good, neither has Stanford, but I'll take Stanford.
I am going with Hawaii, and I'll tell you why. The last 5 opening games for Stanford, they're 2-3 straight up. They're 2-3 against the spread. Redshirt freshman Micah Aliado threw for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns last year in his first start to end the season with Hawaii. Timmy Chang with his new quarterback at home in the season opener. I like Timmy Chang now. The guy lets the cannon off the ball. You're talking 55 throws a ball game. 50 throws a ball game. So if you like passing, it's like June Jones's offense. It really is. It's like when Chang played under June Jones's offense. It's really fun to watch. I like Hawaii in this one. I think the travel's going to be tough. And to start out, way behind your time frame. Stanford, look, had a weak year in the ACC last year. They upset a couple teams here and there. I don't see a lot. I see Hawaii making a turn for the better after winning the game at the end of the season last year. I think they went 5-7 last year. They won 3 out of their last 5. So I like the momentum Hawaii was building into the offseason. I like their quarterback, and I like Timmy Chang only because he was one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. I'm going Hawaii, and you never get to do this. Go Rainbow Warriors, baby. So that's our. So Todd's taking Stanford and the points, and that's probably the play there because Stanford's a Power 4 school and in the ACC. But, folks, that wraps it up for our Pick 6. Let's get to our final thought real quick. Todd, tee us off.
I'll tell you, I'm just so glad the games are starting. I'm tired of the NIL. I'm tired of the portal. I'm tired of the sign-stealing scandal. I'm tired of how many teams should be in a playoff. I'm tired of all the jazz. I'm tired of computers. I'm tired of committees. I'm tired of instant replay. I'm tired of all. Kick the damn ball off and let's go.
Wayne, what's your final thought, buddy?
Well, my final thought is going to be on an NFL game upcoming this Friday. My dad's team, the Dallas Cowboys, will be playing my team, the Atlanta Falcons, and I can guarantee you the phone lines will be tied up during this game. Unless Atlanta's losing really bad, then I'm going to turn my phone off.
You know what? 2 accidents waiting to happen. The line will probably set on fire or something, man.
Yeah, I tell you, you know who I think's going to win this game? I think it's going to be a dollar bill is going to win this game because a dollar bill is still good for 4 quarters.
You know what I think? It's getting up in a tie, and they're going to have to leave the game early because it's such bad quality of play. You're going to have one Cowboys receiver jump on the field and get run over. You're going to get a Falcon. We know that they're not playing their top 2 quarterbacks. I mean, geez, oh man, both these teams are going to have long seasons. Probably Dallas is going to have a longer one. It's going to have a longer one, but we know the Falcons. They're cousins to the Cowboys. I mean, you know what's going to happen. The accident's going to happen.
Maybe
somewhere.
they can recreate the 2020 failed onside kick attempt for the Atlanta Falcons.
No, they'll probably get that right in the
recovery.
preseason game.
Anyway,
they'll probably get that one right.
Go ahead, Todd.
No, I was going to say they'll probably get that play right.
Guys, my final thought revolves around a little school in Auburn, Alabama.
Auburn
claimed
sweet
7
Lord.
more national championships, making a total of 9. Let me go ahead and go over some of these numbers for you, Auburn fans. 1910, Auburn was 6-1. Pittsburgh undefeated at 9-0, but Auburn claimed it. 8-0 in 1913. Title went to 9-0 Harvard, but dang it, Auburn claimed it. 8-0-1. Title went to 9-0 Army. You know the story. Auburn's claiming it. 1958, 9-0-1. Title went to 11-0 LSU. Auburn's claiming it. I mean,
I had no idea. I had no idea there were so many unclaimed titles.
Yeah, this is the funniest part of it. So 83, 11-1, number 3. In the AP poll, Miami went 11-1. They finished number 1. So that one you might have a little gripe for, especially with the playoffs nowadays. They were banned from the postseason in 93, so you got absolutely no reason claiming a national championship for that one. And 2004 is the only legitimate one I could have a claim for because they were 13-0 SEC, or they were 12-0 SEC champions, finished the season unbeaten. But SC was 13-0, and they were clearly one of the best teams in the country. That would have been an epic football game with Cadillac Jones, Ronnie Brown, and Jason Campbell. It was a really good Auburn team. They probably could have played well in that SC game. But my point is, Guys, let's just claim national championships. It's the only sport in the world where there's 155 years of competition, but 216 national champions. Let's get something right. Thank God for the college football playoff, guys, because we get to play it on the field.
Yeah, Ohio State's the only one that has the real national championship that actually was played in a real playoff on the field.
Oh, boy. Well, folks, that wraps it up for ATL Prime Sports here. I'm in Lilburn, Georgia. Wayne is in Memphis, Tennessee. Larry out tonight in Adairsville, and Todd up there in Woodstock, Georgia via Michigan
No,
right
I'm
now.
not. I'm up in northern Michigan.
All right.
That's what I just said. From Woodstock
Oh, I
via
thought you said Woodstock.
northern Michigan. Nope, I just
Sorry.
said from Woodstock via Michigan, Todd Corder.
Oh.
And you can catch us next week. We'll be doing a college football playoff prediction. You can catch us all at ATL Prime Sports. And have some fun watching some football this weekend. Get you one. We'll see you later.